Tonight, sticker shock at the grocery store is expected to ease.
I certainly look for items on sale. It is a big concern.
Prices will still rise, but not as much, and some foods may actually get cheaper. Canada moves to cap oil and gas emissions.
We're the first country in the world to do this.
We break down the pushback.
Albertans will not tolerate it.
And the politics with that issue. More and more kids are taking melatonin.
We were rather desperate to help her get a good night's sleep.
But is it safe? What researchers want parents to know.
This is The National with Chief Correspondent Adrian Arsenault.
Thanks for joining us. Canadians are looking at an even higher grocery bill next year, according to a new report on food prices. But there is a glimmer of good news. The annual food price report put together by researchers at 4 Canadian universities predicts the average family of 4 will spend just over $16,000 on groceries in 2024. That's up about $700 over the year. Price jumps are still forecasted for some staple items, but as Nisha Patel shows us, some are expected to fall too.
Shoppers have been doing what they can to stretch their budgets.
Just trying to find different ways to bring in extra income, just to be able to provide for myself.
It has to go down to pastas now and just simple sauces instead of buying chicken.
But I certainly look for items on sale, but it is a big concern.
Over the past 2 years, grocery bills have soared, but 2024 may bring some stability to food prices. The average family of 4 is expected to spend an extra $700 annually.
We are expecting prices to go up in a more modest way.
Researchers predict overall food prices will increase 2.5% to 4.5% next year. Dairy and fruit costs could see moderate gains. Baked goods, meat and vegetables may see bigger price increases.
Consumers have less cash than last year, and so they're going to be looking for bargains.
A few packaged food staples like canned goods could actually get cheaper, as many industry challenges have eased.
Input prices, fertilizer prices, raw material prices, even energy prices have all come down a lot.
Still, after 2 years of sticker shock, grocery stores themselves are under intense scrutiny.
Our grocery store industry is a cozy compact between a small number of very big companies, and they were able to take advantage of this situation to fatten their own profits.
Grocery executives have repeatedly been called to Parliament Hill to face questions over rising food prices. Galen Weston is defending the record profits at Loblaws.
That is not an indication of bad practice. It's not an indication of some sort of profiteering. It's just an indication of a business operating exactly the way that it should.
Loblaws and the other big chains insist they're taking action to help consumers. Shoppers hope those price freezes and discounts will help relieve the pressure on their budgets in 2024.
So, Nisha, prices have gone up so much in the last little while, but I gather this more modest shift signals a bit of a change.
You bet, Adrian. This recent round of inflation has been really punishing. Overall, a pace of 12%, with some items like cooking oil costing 30% more. Now, if we see food inflation slow to 2.5%, that's a big improvement. It really brings us to a level where even if prices are rising, shoppers may not really notice it. And we could start to see discounts and price wars as stores try to lure in consumers in a slower economy. Experts say a low, steady rate of inflation is a good thing, and it seems like that's where we're heading.
People will be looking for those price wars. Nisha, thank you.
You're welcome.
An outbreak of Salmonella linked to cantaloupes has left 5 people dead. The Public Health Agency of Canada says nearly 130 more have gotten sick. It is reporting a sharp increase in cases in Quebec, though they have been found right across the country. And it's recalling Malachita and Rudy brand cantaloupe sold between mid-October and late November. Cities across Canada are marking the first night of Hanukkah, but in Calgary, organizers are linking the lighting of the menorah to support for Israel during a devastating war. And as Aaron Collins explains, that prompted Calgary's mayor to take a step back.
Light the Shamash candle.
It's a tradition 35 years in the making, the lighting of the menorah at Calgary's City Hall. But this year's celebration is missing a VIP.
This is absolutely crushing. I use the words, I feel gutted by this.
Calgary's mayor opting out. She attended last year but says organizers made it too political this year, emphasizing support for Israel on posters.
If the politics could be removed from the faith-based celebration, this would be a different situation.
This man attends the synagogue putting on the menorah lighting. He's resigned from the mayor's re-election campaign.
She made a traditional celebration in Calgary's history a political issue.
A similar controversy recently hit Moncton. The menorah lighting at the City Hall back on there after being cancelled last week. Council there citing a need to separate church and state. A public outcry brought it back.
Those who say that they stand with Jewish people and with Palestinian people, they're going to become a target of criticism.
Anti-Semitic and Islamophobic incidents across Canada are on the rise, intensifying as the conflict in the Middle East does. Ontario and Alberta moving to keep those communities safe.
Hate and bias-motivated acts of harassment and vandalism have no place on our streets, schools, or places of worship.
Today marks 2 months since Hamas militants invaded Israel. Families there still grappling with that tragedy. Its impact being felt here in Canada, too. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
As you just saw there, in Tel Aviv, family, friends, and supporters of the hostages taken by Hamas marked the first night of Hanukkah with their own ceremony.
We light the candles for the return of the hostages, for the release of the hostages, to make a deal for the hostages. It's part of all the Hanukkah holiday.
105 hostages were freed under a truce that ended last week, but 137 are still believed to be in the hands of militants somewhere in Gaza. So a full 2 months have passed since Hamas's atrocities of October the 7th triggered a war unlike anything the region has seen in decades. Tonight, the UN says healthcare in Gaza is on its knees. Scenes of that collapse are hard to watch, but Margaret Evans shows us a place and a people suffering.
The pain of Gaza laid out for all to see and far from over. This is Al Nasser Hospital in Han Yunis. Its normal capacity for 350 patients, now struggling with 1,000. The situation is catastrophic in all senses of the word, says this doctor. The city is now the focus of Israel's ground war, moving, it says, on key Hamas leaders thought to be hiding there. Civilians say they're the ones being hit in the airstrikes that go with it. Al-Najjar Hospital in Rafah, further south. A freelance journalist working for CBC News inside Gaza captured the suffering of the wounded and the exhaustion of those treating them. Akram Abdelkader Yarbo is an emergency physician, one of 30 doctors at the hospital. They sleep in shifts.
About 3 to 4 hours per day. Most of us that did not see their families during this period.
The emergency unit has just 10 beds in it. The injuries the war is inflicting on people, brutal.
We deal with amputations. We deal with extensive burns, almost over than 80 or 90% of the total body area with a 3rd degree or 4th degree burn.
He believes Israel is trying to push Palestinians out of Gaza.
I will not leave my hospital. I will not leave my patients.
Israel has said it will allow more fuel into Gaza from Egypt and is reportedly considering opening another crossing from its own territory. But it blames Hamas for the war and rejects calls for a ceasefire, despite warnings that public order could soon break down. This is a food line in Deir al-Balah, close to the fighting near Han Yunis. There's no one there, says Rafat al-Dirdisawi. The doors are closed. We only have God. Only He is present, along with a watching world.
Margaret, I just want to ask you about something. Some Israeli media outlets have been showing video of dozens of Palestinian men in Gaza reportedly captured by the Israeli military.
That's right, Adrian, and they were shown stripped down to their underwear. Some pictures show them bound and blindfolded, kneeling, apparently in northern Gaza. We don't know when, we don't know under what circumstances, and we can't source the video. An IDF, or an Israeli military spokesman, was asked. He gave a vague answer saying that they have arrested hundreds of suspects and questioned them, people, he said, with links to militants in Gaza.
All right, Margaret Evans in Jerusalem tonight. Thank you. Israeli authorities say a guided missile strike from Lebanon killed a 60-year-old farmer in Israel's north. Smoke was again seen along the tense border as Israel launched airstrikes. In recent days, both militants tied to Hezbollah and Israel's military have published videos showing attacks on each other. And today, Israel's prime minister warned Hezbollah not to start a war. If it does, said Benjamin Netanyahu, that would make Beirut and southern Lebanon look like Gaza and Han Yunis, cities devastated by weeks of intense bombing and ground battles. Police in Gatineau, Quebec, say a young family was targeted by mistake when someone shot at their home last night. No one was injured, but about 10 bullet holes can be seen in the house. Police say the family, which includes young children, had only moved in a few months ago. They suspect the shooting actually is linked to the home's previous tenants, two brothers who were injured in a different shooting last week. Tonight, the Assembly of First Nations has a new national chief. Cindy Woodhouse won the election, but getting there wasn't easy. As Olivia Stefanovich tells us, the work ahead might be even more challenging.
A show of unity. The two remaining candidates locking hands with their interim leader to break the deadlock after 6 rounds of ballots.
I know a lot of our chiefs wanted me to keep going.
Seeing no path to victory, Saskatchewan's David Pratt conceded.
We leave here behind our national chief.
I, Cindy Woodhouse Neepanak.
Making way for Manitoba's Cindy Woodhouse to become the next national chief.
We came together in a good way because we have to work for you.
Woodhouse specifically mentioned her predecessor, Roseanne Archibald, by name.
She smashed glass ceilings for all of us.
A sign she wants to move the fractured organization forward. Woodhouse was part of the decision to recommend Archibald's removal, following workplace misconduct complaints against the former national chief.
It's nice to see that another woman national chief was elected.
This chief has worked closely with Woodhouse.
She's very humble. That's what we need is humility and workmanship.
Woodhouse may not be the bragging type.
Yes, we did it!
But her family from Pinay-Mutang First Nation in Manitoba eager to celebrate.
I'm proud of her, of what she accomplished over the years.
Woodhouse helped secure more than $23 billion from Ottawa for First Nations child welfare compensation in her previous role as AFN Manitoba Regional Chief.
Oh yeah, it's so inspiring.
Now Woodhouse is encouraging the next generation of First Nations leaders.
I've never been more excited for someone and for myself, honestly.
Woodhouse says she wants to work right away on housing and preventing First Nations children from entering the child welfare system as she leads the Assembly into a new era. Olivia Stefanovich, CBC News, Ottawa.
The Northwest Territories also has a new leader tonight. Representatives chose R.J. Simpson for Premier. One of his top priorities, lobbying Ottawa for a carbon tax exemption.
The North is not the South. The idea of the carbon tax is maybe it's a good idea for some jurisdictions. It just doesn't work for us.
Simpson also says he'll focus on creating an addictions treatment center and will address the housing shortage in the territory. Well, Ottawa unveiled a new plan today to cap oil and gas emissions. The Liberal government says it will help meet climate change targets without hurting the energy sector, but not everyone agrees. David Thurton explains.
We're the first country in the world to do this.
The Liberal government revealing its plan to put a lid
on some emissions from the oil and gas sector. The industry accounts for the largest share of Canada's greenhouse gas emissions.
This cap is a key part of decarbonizing the sector on a path to net zero by 2050.
In 2019, segments of the oil and natural gas industry released 171 megatons. Under the new policy, it's forecast to drop to at least 112 megatons by 2030, a one-third cut enforced by a cap-and-trade system. That system allocates a limited number of pollution permits to oil and gas companies, which can then be bought and sold in an emissions trading market.
What you do is you put a ceiling, a limit on the amount of pollution that a company, or in that case a sector, can emit, and that cap goes down over time.
It took no time for the Alberta government to oppose the plan, saying Ottawa is stepping on its jurisdiction.
There's no question that if they continue on this path, it will end up with court, and I think we will win.
Canada is one of the world's top oil and gas producers. Industry worries an emissions cap will mean a cap on production.
If Canada blocks the growth of our liquefied natural gas industry or something like that, we are saying to India, to Indonesia, keep burning coal.
Some environmental groups already argue the cap doesn't go far enough.
We are a bit disappointed to see the level that they've set the target at. We're going to be pushing very hard to see if we can fix that.
But this climate policy researcher says the goals are achievable.
They've done their homework on what is practical and what is possible in the sector.
Canadians won't see the cap phased in until after the next election, 2026 at the earliest. With the Conservatives opposing the plan, this could become an election issue. David Thurton, CBC News, Ottawa.
And Rosie and the At Issue panel are with us tonight to help break down the politics of the cap and trade plan. That is up in just a few minutes. And a political battle within Alberta over the proposed plan to pull out of the Canada Pension Plan. The provincial government rejected a move to make a referendum on the issue binding. The NDP amendment would have forced the government to respect the results of a public vote. Smith's majority government voted it down, but did promise to respect whatever choice Albertans make. Well, parents are turning to melatonin to help their kids sleep, but some health experts say, be cautious.
It can have very negative side effects, problems with bad dreams and aggression.
The possible risks and the warnings for parents, plus. Ski season in BC is off to a slow start.
It has been a roller coaster to get the mountain open.
What to expect as we head into the holidays. And Christmas may be coming, but Krampus is already here. Our moment full of holiday jeers. We're back in 2 weeks. A Texas judge has ruled in favor of a pregnant woman seeking a legal abortion for medical reasons, renewing debate over the state's strict abortion ban.
The idea that Ms. Cox wants desperately to be a parent, and this law might actually cause her to lose that ability is shocking.
Kate Cox, who's 20 weeks pregnant, found out last month that her developing fetus has a genetic disorder likely to cause the baby's death and possibly hers. She sued the state, seeking a temporary restraining order to block its 6-week abortion ban to protect her health and future fertility. Her lawsuit is believed to be one of the first major legal challenges since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade last year. Some pediatricians are urging caution as the number of kids and teens taking melatonin rises. It's meant to be a sleep aid, but as Tashana Reed explains, it comes with risks and not a lot of research about the long-term effects.
Hello, everybody. From naps to bedtime, for these parents, sleep is a constant concern.
Some good nights, some bad nights. He's not slept through the night yet.
Risa Waldman knows that struggle.
We were rather desperate to help her get a good night's sleep.
When her daughter was 5, she gave her a low dose of melatonin.
Honestly, it really has worked for us.
And new research suggests more parents are trying it. The survey of almost 1,000 American children under the age of 14 found nearly 1 in 5 were given melatonin, mostly in gummy form and for more than 12 months. The hormone is approved by Health Canada as a natural health product for adults, but not for kids under 12.
So melatonin is something that absolutely we do use in our sleep program here, but we're using it in conjunction with overall sleep hygiene advice.
Dr. Reshma Amin only advises short-term use, about 6 to 8 weeks.
We actually have no data on the long-term safety of use of melatonin in children.
And there are other concerns, including accidental ingestions. From 2012 to 2021, pediatric ingestions of melatonin reported to U.S. poison control centers increased by 530%. And a Canadian study found inconsistent doses in melatonin products.
If they get too much, it can have very negative side effects, problems with bad dreams and aggression.
In many countries, melatonin is only available with a prescription.
You would have some confidence as a parent that what's on the label of the bottle is actually what your child is getting.
Sleep experts say parents should take other steps first, keeping a consistent wake-up and bedtime, ensuring kids get enough hours of sleep, and avoiding screens before bed. Tashonda Reed, CBC News, Toronto.
It is ski season in BC, but the snow is not playing ball.
Everybody's pretty worried.
Ultimately, we're working with Mother Nature.
The weather pattern at play and how long it could last. After the break, Rosie's here with that issue. Hey, Rosie.
Hey, Adrian. Tonight we're going to talk about Canada's cap on oil and gas emissions.
And to make good on this country's promise to make real progress on cutting pollution that fuels the global warming crisis.
Can Ottawa get the provinces to buy into the cap? Chantal, Althea, and Andrew join me to talk about that and more.
Those are some very messy conditions in Calgary tonight, but luckily a snowfall warning has ended. Much of southwestern Alberta and the mountain parks are still under an Environment Canada warning. Those areas could see about 10 to 20 centimeters into tomorrow. In parts of BC, though, there isn't enough snow. Warmer, wetter conditions are to blame for a slow start to the ski season. As Georgie Smythe shows us, it's left some hills with few options.
BC's ski season has been a waiting game.
We've got snow and everybody was anticipating rain, so this is perfect. Like, this is a good start to the season.
It took a lot of work to cover this hill, scraping up the little snow that's fallen even from the parking lot.
It has been a roller coaster to get the mountain open. We had 95 centimeters of snow last week and then 70 millimeters plus of rain on Monday. The team's been working for months to get us to this point.
A thin snowpack has delayed resort openings from Whistler to Revelstoke.
On the coast is always more challenging in an El Nino year, but interior mountains can be impacted as well, so as can the Rockies. So I think everybody's pretty worried.
A summer drought extended into a warm, dry fall, so little rain that did fall failed to freeze as snow.
Yeah, El Nino is absolutely on a lot of people's minds.
This year, that weather pattern, which affects the Pacific jet stream, could also mean less snow, especially for lower elevation coastal mountains.
We could be looking at a milder than normal winter season.
Water scientists say it's still too early to predict if less precipitation will affect BC's water supply in the spring. For now, every snowflake counts.
We all need snow and we know it's coming. We just have to be patient.
At Cypress in West Vancouver, 84 snow guns are working overtime.
We'll all do everything we can to, make snow, to clear trails, to manage the experience, and ultimately we're working with Mother Nature. So we're gonna work around what Mother Nature brings for us.
To make the best of any snow that falls. Georgie Smythe, CBC News, Vancouver.
It is time to break down the stories shaping our world. It's Thursday, which means Rosie's here with that issue.
At issue tonight, a cap on oil and gas emissions, a framework with targets that do not go as far as expected towards Canada's climate goals.
What we're talking about today is about cutting emissions. This is not about capping production.
But the proposal is getting some pushback.
This proposed cap also undermines the unity of our country, and Albertans will not tolerate it.
So what's to be made of the proposed cap on emissions? And can Ottawa convince the provinces to buy in? I'm Rosemary Barton here to break it all down. Chantal Hébert, Andrew Coyne, and Althea Raj. Chantal, I'm going to start with you. This is a big, long-awaited piece of the Liberals' climate plan to cap oil and gas emissions. And they expect, they hope that it will make a difference to try and get them to their targets, because they're not on track now. What did you make of what they put in the window today?
Well, a cap on emissions, that's quite right, is not a cap on production. It's a way to encourage industry to find a way to produce cleaner petroleum, oil, natural gas, or else buy credits or sell credits. So it's an interesting way to go about it. For those who don't know, that is how the US and Canada went about acid rain, and it did. So first half of your question. The second half is the Liberals are in a poor position in the polls. This is supposed to kick in 2026. I don't think that the Liberals can get the time of day from provincial governments, especially Saskatchewan and Alberta, unless they get a clear mandate in another election.
And they're challenged on top of that, Andrew, by the fact that there have been these the Supreme Court ruling and pushbacks from provinces saying, no, you're getting out of your courtyard here. This isn't stuff that you can do here.
Yeah, and the good news is it is more reasonable and pragmatic than perhaps people might have feared in advance, both in the timelines, in the amount of reductions that are required, and most particularly in the fact that it's not just a cap, but a cap and trade system. So you can, companies that can exceed their quota can trade their excess emissions to companies that would find it much harder to reduce their emissions. So yeah, effectively it works almost like a carbon price. So the question becomes, why do you need a whole separate carbon price regime for the oil and gas sector? The point of a carbon pricing is supposed to be that you get out of, nuanced differences between industries. You let the pricing system itself handle those differences. You let businesses figure out how best for themselves to reduce emissions. You let investors decide how to allocate capital between different industries depending on what kind of carbon tax burden they're facing. And it becomes kind of impersonal in a way. And the benefit from that politically is you don't have somebody issuing edicts, going on TV, being seen to basically single out a particular industry and hit them over the head with it. Yeah. So you kind of wonder, both from a policy standpoint, that this is bound to be less efficient than having a single program that can apply across the board. And secondly, politically, it's bound to rile people up more than a simple single carbon price system. And the only thing you conclude is it seems to be important for them politically to be seen to be taking on the oil and gas industry. And I think that's really unfortunate.
Althea.
Well, I don't know if people are not riled up on the carbon price, because it seems like they are. I think Andrew actually knows the answer to the question that he posed. The reason that the Liberal government is going after the oil and gas industry is that, frankly, they cannot meet their target without it. And yes, they have tried to do a price on carbon, and they are not just picking on the oil and gas sector. We have clean fuel regulations, for example, help in the transportation sector, but they cannot achieve their targets at all unless they do have a system that is directed at the oil and gas sector. And so that's why. And while, yes, it was less ambitious than some people, I guess you could say the flip side, not just people feared, but some people hoped. In some ways, again, this is that, liberal Goldilocks position where you seem like you're prudent when you're being attacked from both sides. And, I was struck today hearing Alberta Premier Danielle Smith respond, talking about Stephen Guilbeault, the federal environment minister, as a menace. I'm not sure if she would have responded differently if the targets were even lower. I think that was a default position. What is interesting is they clearly have given a lot of thought to making sure that this plan will be held up in the courts. That I think may explain why there was a bit of a delay, but also that this will not. They have a line already out on this national unity question, where the Premier talked about. Minister Guilbeault asked him about this last week, and he talked about public opinion polling showing that support in Alberta is even high for this. But she is right when she says when you ask people do you support still this plan if it's going to take a significant chunk out of the provincial budget? And that either or discussion we really have not had.
So Chantal, what does that mean in terms of how it plays out politically? Like, obviously, the Premier has to take the position that she's taking, but is there a way to, for the Liberals to say we're making a difference on climate change, but we are still allowing production to continue?
Yes, and I think in the process they are, because everything is political now. Let's be serious. This is going to be an election about whether you do something or whether the Conservatives have an alternative. And today they got the Conservatives to say no to yet another option, which at the end of the day leaves the Conservatives with very little to show voters. That possibly can work in Alberta and Saskatchewan. But whether, and I'm guessing the Liberals are asking themselves that question, whether in the end it works in BC, Ontario, and Quebec is another issue. And this is the best time for the official opposition because it doesn't have to say, we have a plan for climate change. But the more they say no to everything, the less of a plan they can put forward.
Andrew, on the politics of it.
Well, it may be that the public's priorities have shifted a bit.
Yes,
it was one thing when, and people were always a bit duplicitous in this. They were all in favor of doing something. They were less in favor of having to pay for it. And to the extent they were mad keen on it, it was particularly when the economy was turning over well. Once affordability and prices and things become top of mind, they seem to be, I think, a little less interested in this. I should say they absolutely could reach their targets with carbon pricing. I've crunched the numbers on this. You wouldn't have to increase the carbon price that much more than it already is to be increased, particularly if you got rid of the output-based allocation, the system of credits for large emitters where they basically are forgiven the first X percentage of their emissions. If you got rid of that and had a more pure carbon pricing scheme, you could get to your Paris targets without having to have all these myriad other schemes that are, every one of them, more costly to the economy and to consumers ultimately than a carbon pricing regime would be.
So how does the government then sell this particular cap in the context that we're in, Althea, which is, like, as we've all said, people seem worried about the carbon tax or questioning how it's working and whether it is working and whether it benefits them at all?
Well, one thing we've seen this week, interestingly, is the Liberals have changed course in terms of their communication talking points. They're now talking about how the Conservatives are out to only benefit the rich. They have been telling us for years now that the carbon price is more beneficial to 8 out of 10 Canadians, but now they've framed it in a class warfare prism. And I think that's actually, they seem re-energized by the fact that they have new talking points that can resonate with some people and that pin the blame, if you will, for opposition on the Conservatives, saying, well, they're out there to support wealthy Canadians and we're out there to support people who really need help. So I think we're going to hear a lot more from that as well, I guess there's only a week left as the next 5 days unfold, if they even last that long.
It has the advantage in this case of being true. If you get rid of the carbon price and the rebate, people at the bottom end are worse off, and people at the top end are the ones that benefit. So in this case, it's actually accurate.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to leave this part here. Thank you all so much. But when we come back, we'll talk about the Speaker of the House, Greg Fergus, and the calls for him to step down. The Speaker says he won't step down, but his actions are now under review. What happens next? That's after the break. Speaker of the House Greg Fergus is facing calls for his resignation after he appeared in a tribute video for the Ontario Liberals. Fergus apologized but isn't stepping down.
I think the best way to do it is to show them, to demonstrate fairness and impartiality and getting the job done.
Now the House Procedures Committee is doing a review. So what's next for the Speaker of the House? Can he regain the confidence of the Conservatives and the Bloc in this case? Let's bring everybody back. Chantal, Andrew, and Althea. Althea, why don't you start us off on this one? Fergus obviously says that this appearance was supposed to be a tribute to a friend. It was for an intimate party. It wasn't supposed to be broadcast at a big event. What do you make of how he's handled this?
Well, it was an error in judgment. There's no doubt about that. Unfortunate for him, because it would be sad to see the first Black speaker, not even last 3 months. I don't know, maybe not even 2 months. But I think he's allowing the process to unfold as he should. He left and allowed the deputy speaker to step in, and then the process is going to unfold at the parliamentary committee. I hope the Liberals let it unfold and not close rank. The Conservatives never supported Greg Fergus, so to the outset of your first question there. The other thing I feel like I'm just going to add a little asterisk. We had an incident in the House this week where Chris d'Entremont, who's the deputy speaker and a Conservative, who's actually a very good speaker, had to expel a member of his own caucus for misbehaving, calling the Prime Minister a liar. You're not allowed to say that in the House of Commons, considered unparliamentary. But the only reason they did this, and this is the second time, because Raquel Dancho did this last year around this time to fundraise and to send out a note to supporters on social media. And so the Conservatives are not making Chris's job easier if they want him to replace Greg Fergus. So there's some parliamentary games happening here. It was an error of judgment. He shouldn't have done it. There's no excuse. And we'll see what happens.
Why does it matter, Andrew, for Canadians who are watching and saying, so what? It was a friend. He sent a video. Why is this actually important?
Well, the speaker has to be seen to be impartial as between parties. And this was a clearly partisan move, boneheaded move as well, not only to have participated in a partisan event, but to do so in his speaker's regalia, after which he compounded it by flipping off to Washington in the middle of this whole ruckus, which just looked like he was giving everybody the bird. I think the point that should be emphasized...
It was pre-planned, to be fair.
Yeah, but plans can change.
You should cancel it.
Yeah.
Cancel a ticket. Yeah. Go on.
But I think part of the reason this had such impact and resonance was he already had a reputation as a partisan. He was a very odd choice for speaker. I mean, like many of the fiercest partisans on the Tory side, he's a political lifer. He was the president of Young Liberals of Canada. He was a staffer to a couple of cabinet ministers. He was national director of the party. So that's not the traditional type of person you would be choosing for speaker, on top of which he had a reputation in Parliament as being a pretty fierce political partisan in Parliament. So I think if he had more of a bank of credibility and capital to draw on before this, people might be a little bit more forgiving. But as Althea mentioned, the Tories were already kind of gunning for him from the get-go, and it's hard to see how he's going to regain their trust, even since they never really gave it to him in the first place.
Chantal.
These days, the Bloc Québécois will go out of its way to not be on the same side as the Conservatives, but on this, they are. And the NDP is wavering. I believe that judgment is the first quality of a speaker, and this is such a glaring error in judgment that I don't really see how it can be redeemed at the committee level. It can only be made worse by the Liberals trying to shore him up, because that would send the message that the speaker is the Liberals' speaker. It's a sad story, but I do think that if you cannot think your way through on your first months in the job, when you're earning respect and confidence, to not show up in speaker's garment to pay tribute and talk about how great it was to fight for the Liberals and for Dalton McGuinty, you should not be in the job.
Let's talk for a minute, though, about what is happening inside there, because this, to Althea's point, this did not start with this incident. The Conservatives have been behaving in an unparliamentary fashion towards the Speaker since he came into this job. And I wonder what you all think about whether that in itself is in any way damaging for the way Parliament works and people's trust in Parliament and how they're doing their job. And we're going to talk in the next block about all the shenanigans happening right now. But Althea.
So two things. I think Greg Fergus actually did not do himself any favors the moment he stepped into that chair. Like, he tried to be very preachy. He chose the wrong moment to really tell MPs how he wanted to act and police them, basically. I mean, he's supposed to be the referee, but he took an approach that I think if he had not chosen to take, the Bloc might still be on side, because he's there because of them, not just because of the NDP. And so he's, the Conservatives were looking for any excuse and he gave them one. As far as the shenanigans in the House, it has gotten a lot worse over the past year. And I believe part of that is because of social media. The MPs are no longer playing to, the few people watching on CPAC and the journalists in the gallery or watching on TV from their offices. They are looking for the clips that they can isolate and put on the internet to get more views, to get more reach, to mobilize supporters, to get more fundraising money. And it's working. And it's increasing the negative tone in the chamber, not just in the House in terms of the outbursts that we see that are completely disconnected from reality, but in the committee work where they're actually supposed to sit down and work together. They're being incredibly aggressive. They're no longer being nice to the witnesses, like basic courtesy of a stranger. I'm not even talking about a minister, a deputy or some expert, that you don't go shake their hand because you're going to start attacking them in any second so you can put a clip on social media. It is really destroying the tone and the civility of the place.
Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, all that's well taken in terms of the Tories' behavior, but I do think it compounds matters. The Speaker's behavior in this. It's one thing if you already have the trust of all sides of the House and you then say, okay, we really need to address the lack of decorum, lack of civility in the House. If you're viewed, perhaps rightly, as being a bit of a partisan, that appeal for decorum and civility, I mean, governing parties are always in favor of more civility in Parliament because that means less criticism. And if you were of a suspicious mind, you might look at what he was doing there and say, what he's really trying to do is prevent us from really nailing it to the government, fairly or unfairly.
Chantal, last word to you.
This Parliament is nearing its end, whether it's in 6 months or 18 months. It's a very politicized House, and you can say what you want about how the Conservatives are behaving, but it doesn't help to have a Speaker who can't read the room. Mm-hmm. And basically, that is what you have. Imagine that it's the Stanley Cup and you have a referee a week to the Stanley Cup who goes to the old home week of his previous team, one of the two contenders. Yeah, right. That makes for a good call on the part of the referee, even if those calls are okay.
Yeah.
It's too late to go back in time and redeem all this. I believe that the Speaker can't read the room.
Okay, thank you for all of that on those two topics. We're going to see all of you in person next week, which will be a delight for me. And with that, I'll send things back to Adrienne, and she's, of course, in Toronto.
All right, thank you, Rosie. Coming up, a holiday tradition that is not for the faint of heart. Yikes, a visit from Krampus is next in our moment. So I'm going to guess you likely know Santa. Well, this is Krampus. Like Saint Nick, he is known to visit around Christmas, but not to give gifts. Instead, to frighten children who did not make the nice list. So now Krampus is rooted in folklore, but recently he paid a visit to Edmonton, and tonight that frightening foray is our moment.
We don't know the exact beginning and roots of this custom. It is very common in the Alpine countries, in the Germany, Austria regions. What our group does primarily is a Krampuslauf. And that is a Krampus parade, a Krampus march. This year we had about 35 people dressed up. We normally have a St. Nicholas that joins us, but this year St. Nicholas was unable to attend. We have large bells like this one here, and we ring out the negativity of the old year and ring in the new year. The ones that come to see us are usually quite excited. We do catch a few people off guard. That's why people like horror movies, and people like rides that are pumping your adrenaline.
For all you naughty little children out there, I'm coming.
I enjoy embracing the season, so it's a darker time of year, and I love what's different.
Okay, this is only a little bit disturbing. So I did not know this, but apparently the Krampus community is a very tight-knit community. They're all friends. And apparently that mask that he wears weighs 15 pounds. It's like putting a kettlebell on your face. Thank you for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app and subscribe to the Nationals YouTube channel. I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Take care.